and welcome to Cinema Bing Bong, your monthly film magazine program, bringing you all the ghouls, ghosts, gremlins, and grotesqueries of the spookiest city on earth, Hollyweird. I'm Amelia, and here's my co-host, Rebecca.
Is it going to be a Halloween episode? Oh, yeah, you saw all those horror movies.
So I thought this would be like a smooth segue, because even though it's April...
Yeah.
Just like a whole lot of horror movies came out. And I saw 3 of them, and I had to see them by myself because I don't know anyone who wants to go see a horror movie with me.
I have to see all movies by myself because everyone I know got priced out of the city.
Wow. We're bringing the political realities this month on Cinema Bing Bong. But yeah, so I just thought we could start out and I could kind of talk about all 3 of the kind of like 1970s throwback horror movies that came out this month. We've got Immaculate, The First Omen, and Late Night with the Devil. What should I talk about first, Rebecca?
Immaculate. Now that I've read that tweet about memoir, I'm very aware of how I pronounce immaculate.
Rebecca's been sending me messages all morning about this tweet saying that no one pronounces memoir correct because this person doesn't understand that very few non-American English speakers pronounce R's at the end of words.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, which accents even have a rhotic R in them? And
there's not
North
many.
American English and Cantonese. Oh no, it's like some dialects of Mandarin.
I know God saved me for a reason, but I guess I'm still searching for what that reason is. Too much blood of Christ.
It's a miracle.
So Immaculate is a horror film directed by Michael Mohan, but no one really cares about that because this is Sydney Sweeney's movie, who co-produced and starred in it.
Yeah, I never even heard of him.
And by all accounts, was like one of the driving forces behind its production. So it's basically about, and remember this plot because it's going to be important later. It's about an American nun who gets sent to an Italian monastery by a trusted church father, and starts integrating herself into the nunnery in preparation for taking her vows before something terrible happens involving a church conspiracy and an unwanted pregnancy. Oh,
Werewolf bar mitzvah.
it's spooky, scary. Yeah, I thought Immaculate was pretty good. You know,
Yeah.
it has, so like one of the things that as faithful listeners have probably realized, I have a few things that really like put me off movies that I think maybe other people don't really care that much about. Movie soundtracks do a lot for me. And basically any horror movie that you see now will have a soundtrack that's like, ooh, gum.
Oh my god, I wasn't expecting you to beatbox.
It's so, I hate it. And,
Yeah.
but, so Immaculate has like a little bit of that, but it's
But what do you think they should be? Do you think they should be like Dario Argento?
They could be literally anything else.
Okay.
Immaculate has what sounds like a kind of like haunted, like Italian folk group, like
Okay.
like some kind of like hurdy-gurdy, slightly like medieval horn drone stuff going on, with some like wonky piano. It's not like out there for a horror movie, but it's just like it's just that little bit of flavor that makes the movie like good to me.
Okay, so it's good. I thought that you were going to say that it was bad.
No, and I think Immaculate is it's very solid. It's not trying to be a super like highbrow artsy thing. It's just like an extremely well made. Extremely well made is putting it a bit too far. It's an extremely competent like pulpy horror movie, and it's really sold by Sydney Sweeney in the central performance. Her kind of face acting in the movie is like, she looks shit scared extremely well. And it also just like the ending of the movie rules and is extremely cathartic. I might tell you what it is and then bleep it out.
Tell me or tell the people?
Tell you and then bleep it out so the people can't hear.
Oh, okay. You can just tell them to stop listening for a second.
No. I think it would be funnier to bleep it out.
Okay.
So at the end, she like escapes from the evil clutches of the demonic church, but she is and covered in blood. So she basically is screaming covered in blood on like a rural Italian mountainside, and then beats the to death with a big fuck off.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's very biblical.
It's really solid, and I think without that, it would just be kind of like a whatever movie. But
yeah,
it's worth it for that, I think.
because I only saw, other than your description, I only saw one line of a review that seemed to think it was very she-breasted boobily.
I think that really depends on your perspective. There are quite a few scenes with Sydney Sweeney's breasts, but largely it's like, here's Sydney Sweeney's breasts and she's throwing up. Here's Sydney Sweeney's breasts and she is getting strangled. Here is Sydney Sweeney's breasts and she's 9 months pregnant.
So there's a balance.
I didn't find it. I gotta say, I didn't find this movie sexy at all. So that's kind of surprising to me.
Would you describe yourself as a sexy viewer?
Yeah, I think so. I'm a sexy viewer. I'm an adult woman. So keeping that plot line in mind, The First Omen has the same plot.
There's this girl at the orphanage. I think that she really needs someone to look out for her.
Carlita suffers from a touch of madness.
You must be very careful, Margaret.
Yeah.
Yes. An American nun gets brought to Italy by a trusted church father. She joins a reclusive convent and against her will becomes embroiled in a kind of like demonic breeding program.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
It's the same plot. It's absolutely baffling to me that we have like, because people were like comparing the movies, and I was like, oh, they're two nun horror movies. No one prepared me for the fact that we were in like an Armageddon Deep Impact situation.
That we were in a Holdovers Frisco situation.
that we were in a Holdovers Frisco situation. We were in a Bugs Ants Life scenario.
Yeah, I do think that is interesting that that I haven't like read anything about that. And people are just like, oh, there's two nun films.
Yeah, it's
did no one see both of them?
No, I don't. It's very interesting to me. So The First Omen is in many ways a better film than Immaculate.
I thought that you thought it was worse.
So did I say in every way? Only in many ways is it better.
Okay.
And
you only told me in the one way that it's worse.
No, yeah, the directing is way better. The First Omen is like a movie-ass movie. It's it like establishes its characters and you care about them, and there's like interesting shots and the cinematography is really cool. And like the pacing is pretty good. It's got some incredible performances. Nell Tiger Free, who I haven't seen in anything before, I think this might be an early appearance from her, is really, really good as the American nun. I mean, it also has.
Every time you say American Nun, I think of American Woman, but with the lyrics changed to American Nun.
American Nun. It's also got Bill Nighy, who's always a joy. I think he's a cardinal in this, and it's got Ralph Ineson, who people might remember from The Witch.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I got to add that to the itinerary.
And I think he's also Finchy in The Office. He's like the baddie in the British Office.
I've never seen The Office.
Well, regardless, Ralph Ineson is a really good actor, and I think the performances in this and the cinematography and the way that it's crafted mostly is great, and I was really excited. And then it basically in the third act it remembers that it's a prequel to The Omen.
Oh no!
And has to skirt the plot. And so there are good bits about the final act.
Young Sheldon.
Yeah. There are good bits about the final act of the film, but it kind of, I don't think there's any way it could be satisfying because it has to end in a certain way that can't ever really pay off these characters because in the original Omen, which rules, I think Ralph Ineson's character is the priest from The Omen, I think, but none of these other characters are there, so you can't get too attached. No, you can't really set them up for anything, even though this movie also feels like it's setting them up for a sequel to the prequel to The Omen. The ending is, I've heard people call it very Marvel-y, and it is that it's suddenly and his name will be Damien. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Okay, fine.
Oh, that happened in Madam Web.
It suddenly 3/4 of the way through it becomes Madam Web, which is really annoying, because I think if it had managed to carry it off, which I think probably without the baggage of being an Omen prequel, it definitely could have. It would have been a way better movie than Immaculate, but it just it just doesn't quite get there. I will say that this is the debut, the directorial debut of Akasha Stevenson. I think she's done a lot of TV before this, and I think I'm really excited to see what Akasha Stevenson does next. I don't really care what Michael Mohan does next. Maybe what Sydney Sweeney does next will be cool, but yeah, the first Omen is very interesting. There's loads of references to other horror movies to the extent that it became a little bit gratuitous. But I know that people are obsessed with Possession all of a sudden in the last year or so for whatever reason, and it has a 2-minute homage to Possession in it.
What's Possession?
It is got Sam Neill in it. I'm trying to remember details while I look it up.
Okay, what era is it?
More important than Sam Neill probably is Isabella Adjani, because that's what you'll see all the posts of.
Yeah, I've seen all the posts. Okay.
You've seen all the posts. It's a 1981 horror movie. Mm-hmm. It's extremely kind of jarring and upsetting. It's like Euro Cronenberg.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's Immaculate and the First Omen, 2 almost identical movies that inexplicably came out at the same time.
And it hasn't been made that much of a big deal out of, which is interesting.
I'm making a big deal out of it now, so if anyone wants to credit me, they can do it.
Did you hear what happened with young Sheldon?
What happened with young Sheldon?
Okay, well, this is crazy. So in The Big Bang Theory, I've just read all this, okay? I've never seen young Sheldon. But in The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon is estranged from his father. I don't know if he's still alive or not in the events of The Big Bang Theory, but it was because his father cheated on his mother.
Yes.
And then he never spoke to him again. And this is quite a sore point in The Big Bang Theory. But in Young Sheldon, they made his dad an amazing, lovable guy.
I've heard this much. I don't know anything else about it.
Okay, so they couldn't sort of just make him cheat on his mom. It didn't make sense. And this is supposed to be like why Sheldon always like knocks on the door 3 times, because he like saw this cheating and it like ruined his life.
Damn. Trauma.
Yeah, so they couldn't do that because they made his dad just like this really nice guy and young Sheldon. So they made it that he is actually having sex with Sheldon's mum, but she's wearing a wig, so Sheldon doesn't recognize her. But like obviously that's like completely fucked up, that like Sheldon's entire relationship with his father is ruined for the rest of his life.
Oh, he's a bastard anyway. He's a prick.
Because he thinks that he's like a cheater, and which is, I mean, also ridiculous. Like, who cares? But,
Yeah.
but it's not even real. It's just no one told him, oh, that was your mum wearing a wig.
Did you know that they made a Monk spin-off about young Monk?
No, they didn't.
They did. You ready to hear about horror movie number 3, Late Night with the Devil?
Yeah. Well, Night Owls, we've got a heck of a show in store for you tonight, and I'm very excited for you to see it all unfold before your very eyes. I really hope you love it. Gosh, I hope you love it. Please love it. Love it.
I'm trying to host a nationally syndicated talk show, and I'm trying to help you keep it on the air.
We all know.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name of it when I wrote the schedule.
Wow. So
The AI movie.
yeah, so Late Night with the Devil is, I believe it's an Australian production.
Yes, I did read that yesterday.
Although here it says it's a co-production of Australia, the US, and the UAE. It has,
God,
and a few people have commented on this, it has a comically long list of like production imprints at the start of the movie. Like it goes on for like 5 minutes of like Johnny's Studio Productions. Ding.
I saw there was like a Family Guy comp about this.
Oh yeah, because that was a joke in Family Guy, and this has made it real. But basically, so it's written, directed, and edited by Colin and Cameron Cairns. I think they're brothers and not like father-son, which would be cute, or husbands. That would be fun. So it stars...
Yeah, definitely father and son directing duo, and husbands is cuter than brothers, which is like
it's too
old
classic.
hat.
Yeah. I want to see the husbands film. So it stars David Dasmalchian as like a late night talk show host in the 1970s. And the kind of the premise of the movie is that it's a lost episode of that show that was meant to be like a Halloween special to grab back ratings because they'd been dropping. Mm-hmm. And so he kind of like pulled out all the stops and got a girl possessed by a demon onto the show, which may not have been the best idea.
So they're sort of like Nope.
There are different... I mean, wait, how is it like Nope? Because it's about a TV thing.
Because there was a TV episode that like couldn't
Oh,
air.
yes. Oh, yeah. The B plot of Nope. Yeah, it's like the B plot of Nope.
The part that I was awake for.
Yes, absolutely. And so, as you said, it's been kind of mired in controversy in some circles because it has... AI generated art as like it's kind of interstitials, you know, it's like we'll be right back is like an AI generated skeleton.
But maybe that's kind of nothing if it's produced in the UAE.
No one's talking about that. No one wants to boycott it because it's produced in the UAE. But
get on my level.
So I was pretty excited for this kind of the AI art notwithstanding, but after having seen it, I feel like the AI art is kind of like symptomatic of a broader issue with the movie. Like it just kind of feels like it got away from the writer, director, editors a little bit.
Okay.
So like it has this very long frame at the start that is basically like it's almost done like Garth Marenghi, where you've bought like a DVD and it has like intercut commentary thing, like, and so at the start it has like a long intro kind of setting the scene for what was happening in 1970s America, and like
oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, and so
Because
it's
you
like
said it was like look around you, right?
yeah, so it's this big setup to then show this fake TV show, and it's like a very kind of elaborate frame and format, and then it never quite pays that off. Like in order
Right.
to do the big set pieces that it wants to do, it has to like abandon the conceit that you're watching discovered footage.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so like that along with the AI art and then some kind of like slightly shoddy the practical effects are really, really good and the
Yeah.
non-practical effects are like
Yeah.
some
I wouldn't be
After
surprised,
Effects
like-
stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I could see that from having like started off badly with like a concept that you can't carry out.
Yeah, and it's I think when the movie works, it works really, really well. I think David Dastmalchian is incredible in it. You totally buy him as like charismatic late night host, and he is basically on screen consistently talking and doing stuff and reacting the whole movie, and he's great the whole time. And like some of the practical effects, there's some stuff with earthworms that is like extremely good, very like 80s classic horror, like, you know, it's like a bit budget, but that makes it work even
Yeah.
better.
The worms were amazing.
The worms were amazing. The worms and the worm, and people who've seen it will know what I mean. But it to me it doesn't quite come together, which I was a little bit gutted by.
Okay, I was not expecting from anything that I read about it for it to come together.
Really? So I was expecting it to be like a scary episode of Look Around You, which, if people don't know, was like a BBC comedy series that was like a fake
It's like a fake
science
70s
show
educational.
yeah. Or like ITV's Ghost Watch, where they did like an episode. They did like a Michael Parkinson presents this cool show where we're going to look at some ghosts, and then they like faked a lot of stuff to make it look like ghosts were real, and everyone lost their mind.
Oh, like Forgotten Silver.
Yes, like
We're
Forgotten
really
Silver.
like not living in an era of prank TV shows anymore.
No, we're not. But I think by like, you know, the ending had some cool visuals and stuff, but by letting itself kind of like go off format, I was just kind of like, okay, well then why did I sit through, you know,
all of that build up, all of that orientation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because a lot of books are like that.
So I think I'd put this kind of in a similar category to The First Omen, where there's some really cool stuff in there, and I'm interested to see what Colin and Cameron Cairns, they're such Australian names, what they do next.
It's
but
like Ben Hobart in the Babysitter's Club.
yeah, Ben Hobart, incredible.
Yeah, there's someone moves to Connecticut from Australia, and he's called Ben Hobart.
The more I think about them, the more I'm kind of just like, oh yeah, that had some cool stuff. Hopefully they do another cool thing again. Whereas Immaculate, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I kind of want to see that again.
But which one were you losing it over the anachronistic music?
Well, I didn't want to bring this up, Rebecca, because I feel like I'm getting a reputation as an insane person / hater. But
I don't think that you are.
well, sound off in the comment section.
Well, it's actually the podcast is on YouTube now.
Oh, cool. Sound off in the comment section.
But no one commented.
So in The First Omen, there's a scene where they go to the disco, which is really cool, except that the film is explicitly set in 1971. Like, it has a title card that says Rome, 1971.
And AI generated.
And the not AI generated. And the music that they play is one of the tracks is from like 1980, but they like the one that really
it was Daddy Cool, right?
That's from 1976. That was the one that really stood out to me, because I was kind of like, well, I guess if you're playing these obscure songs surely, like, it's only me who's realizing that this does not sound like music from 1971. Because there was, like...
But 5 years is, like, very off.
Yeah, but Daddy Cool is a really famous song that I feel like, for me anyway, is like very explicitly associated with that kind of like mid-late 70s, like this is why punk happened kind of thing.
For me, I would really strongly associate it with the dance scene in Moscow Doesn't Believe in Tears, which is 1980.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is that you're usually in a disco, you're hearing songs that are like, have not come out this week.
Yeah, exactly.
As well.
That's a very difficult thing for people to grapple with. I mean, yeah.
So many
like films and books have people talking about movies or songs or whatever that came out like either months before the setting or like that week, which just doesn't happen.
No. Yeah. So it's really interesting to me because I think now that I'm reflecting on it, it almost feels like another part of the like, oh, this has to be a prequel to The Omen.
Okay.
Because it's clear that whoever was putting the movie together was like, they're in Italy in the 70s. They need to like go to a disco because that's Italy in the 70s. But, you know, it has to be set enough before The Omen that a baby can be born that is like a child in The Omen. And The Omen is from 1976. So they had to like push it back in time and they couldn't squeeze a disco in there. Like there was disco music in 1971, but it didn't sound like Daddy Cool.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We're going to squeeze a disco in because our movie's set in Italy in the 70s.
Yeah. There's a version of this movie that has nothing to do with The Omen that rocks my socks and like changed my life.
It's interesting because who cares, sort of, that like why did it need to remain that consistent to The Omen?
Yeah, I mean, this is the other thing is that it's not even. I don't want to go into this too much because it's been a minute since I watched The Omen, but I'm pretty sure the baby in The Omen, they say that his mother is a jackal and his father is the devil, and in this one his dad is a jackal.
And so his mother is an American nun. It's
not like they're not scared to do, or is she? She could be a different nun.
Okay.
That's crucial to the film. Is who is the mother?
Right.
Yeah. So
maybe The Omen's mother is someone who's not the protagonist of the movie.
Could be.
It's just someone else.
It could be. But I'm just so excited to see all of the people from the first Omen doing something else that is like puts all of that stuff to work and something that doesn't need to have like 3 ending scenes to set up the film that it's a prequel to and also a possible sequel to itself. Italy is scenic though. Maybe you want to go to Italy.
Have you been to Italy?
No.
I've been to Italy, but like nearly every time there was something going wrong.
I mean, stuff's going wrong in this film, and it didn't make me not want to go there. I was like, yeah, I'll join the student protests.
No, I don't mean like student protests. I mean like getting pickpocketed and stuff.
No, not interested in that.
Or like we got like counterfeit money and change.
Jesus. So.
But I would like to go to Italy now that I'm not like 23 years old and only have like $100 and really, really need to not get that money stolen.
Way less chance of you forcibly becoming mother to the Antichrist, though.
Because I'm too old.
Yeah.
Because I'm not American.
Yeah. And you're not an orphan who was raised in a nunnery without knowing her parents.
I'll go to Italy, be like, non sono di America, and they'll be like, oh, okay, chill.
So, Rebecca, you've been watching another film that has inexplicably become mired in AI controversy and other kinds of controversy. Do you want to tell us about? Do you want to tell us about Alex Garland's Civil War?
All across America, critics are raving about the movie event of the year.
It is American, 100%. That's what I'm talking about.
Cool.
I was forced by Amelia to see Civil War because she didn't know if she wanted to watch it or not.
So the thing for me about Alex Garland movies is that I've long learned that I don't need to watch an Alex Garland movie because if I wait long enough, a man will come up to me and explain the whole plot.
That's never happened to me.
This has been my experience. You know what are his recent movie? He's got The Beach. He's got he wrote the novel of The Beach. Sorry.
Wait, what?
And yeah, he used to be a novelist.
He wrote The Beach.
Yeah, Ex Machina, Annihilation.
I've never heard of him, and I haven't seen any of these movies.
The FX miniseries Devs, which I watched and really didn't like, and then still had people explain it to me. So I just was Rebecca can tell me if it's good.
Yeah, because she was like, I don't know if I want to see it, so you should go and see it and tell me. And I was like, but I also don't know if I want to go and see it.
But
why don't you go and see it?
I was too busy taking like a 40-minute bus ride to go see The First Omen, which for some reason was only showing once a day.
Yeah, so I was just like, I don't know, I guess I'm just a sheep. I was like, when's it on? 3:30, whatever.
So the summary of this film, it's in a near future American Civil War, and it follows a bunch of photojournalists. That's correct, right?
Yeah, that is correct, and is not what I had read about it from people who had seen it. They thought something else.
They were largely trying to pass the phrase Antifa massacre and getting mad at Alex Garland for the silly things that he said in the interviews, which I think all directors say stupid things in the interviews. That's why they made a film and didn't give a short speech.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're not doing a TED Talk. Yeah, so I guess my what I knew about Civil War before I saw it was that people were really angry because there was something called the Florida Alliance in the movie.
Okay.
And people online were like, that doesn't make any sense because Florida would never be able to secure an alliance with Louisiana and Alabama.
No.
And this makes me really angry. And I was like, oh, I don't care. And they also didn't like that the Western forces were Texas and California. They thought that was unrealistic. And I was like, man, you gotta open your mind. So anything can happen.
Yeah, as far as I can tell.
This also doesn't seem impossible.
As far as I can tell, American viewers have seen essentially a different film than everyone else. And I think because Alex Garland is English, maybe the film's maybe it's not for them.
Maybe it's not for them. But I mean, to me, who was never, obviously I wasn't watching this movie being like, well, the Senate would never allow this.
It's unconstitutional.
You could never get a House Republican to go to Miami in the first place. I was just watching because it's not really about that. And then I think that the weirdest thing was people saying that the movie is apolitical. Because it doesn't explain the backstory of how the US got into a civil war.
No.
Is that what apoliticism means? No.
So, I mean,
Rebecca, yeah, sorry.
Rebecca, I've got two questions for you then. And take as long or as short to answer these as you want. Question one is the movie good? And question two is, what are the movie's politics?
Okay. I think that the movie is pretty good. it's not really like my favorite genre of movies.
No.
Of movie. But I think that is like actually really well done, and I am like still thinking about it.
You
so
cried throughout, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just, but that was like partially hormonal. I just
Okay.
was like crying through the whole thing because it was really sad, and it really spoke to the like world that we live in, I think, from my perspective on the world, which is not mired in the realities of American interstate politics, right? So basically the film only follows these photojournalists who are led by Kirsten Dunst. And she is sort of like a probably like 40-year-old who has she started as like a student photographer and like got recognition from taking photos of something called the Antifa massacre, which people were like furious about because they thought that was a big joke, that there'll never be an Antifa massacre. I was like, anything can happen. Like, it's fucking like Bondi Junction stabbing. Like, I don't know like how people can sort of think this stuff is like unrealistic or like silly or whatever.
Yeah, also, I mean, it sounds to me more like Antifa are getting massacred just based on the name.
Yeah, so she like sort of became like well known from that, and then she like went to Darfur and like did all this like war photography and stuff. But then it sort of like revealed that her personal purpose in doing this is that she thought that if she went overseas and took all these like horrific war photos, then it would like send a message back to people in the United States that you shouldn't do this.
Yes.
And so she is like very, very jaded that she sort of feels like her personal like work was for nothing because now the US is like in ruins and like there's no roads, there's no like petrol, there's no services, sort of like everyone is just shooting each other. There's like people who are shooting each other and then they're trying to like capture the like premise of the movie is that her and this guy from Miami are trying to be the first journalists to get to the White House because there's like this big plan to like assassinate the president and they like want to get an interview with him.
That sounds
he hasn't been.
That sounds like so much more pulpy than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, they haven't like managed, like no one's got an interview with him for like 18 months or something, and he's like only making these like recorded statements from inside the White House. And also he's Nick Offerman.
Hell yeah.
So they're trying to do that, but then this really young woman who's trying to get into photojournalism like sort of like sneaks in with them, and Kirsten Dunst is like, I don't want her to come, like I don't want like to bring a young person like into this like really dangerous situation. And then there's the old guy, and he's like, they don't want him to come either because he can't move quickly.
Okay.
And but he comes anyway, and then so she's like mad. Which is like sort of fair enough because it's like it's just so dangerous, and like the sort of like the stuff that you see is like horrifying, and like I don't know, I was just crying the whole time because you also know that it's real.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds to me like it's less about trying to talk about specific real world factionalism in the US and more about how the United States seems fucked and holds a massive amount of global sway, and so everyone's terrified that it's going to turn to shit.
Yeah, it's like it's turned to shit. Like there's people like, there's people living in refugee camps and just trying to sort of like carry on and have like activities for children and stuff, which we like know is really happening, just not in the US. And there's like all these university riots, and there's like just people like shooting each other from rooftops, and like, just massive like protests in the street, all this sort of stuff. Like there's like ways that you can't go anymore, and then there's like just people who are trying to like snipe cars from their houses and stuff. And then there's just like this sort of like completely, and there's a lot of sort of like imagery that Kirsten Dunst has like captured in her career that you sort of see like interspersed because you can't like stop thinking about like seeing someone self-immolate in Darfur and stuff like that. And like staring into her eyes when it happened, and then her like taking photos. So a lot of it is about like the relationships between the photojournalists themselves, in thinking like, if I die, will you take a photo of it or will you help me?
Yes.
Or like, if I die, would your first instinct to be take a photo of that, or to like give me a sort of like last act of respect and not photograph that? And then that plays out in different ways. But yeah, the Jesse Plemons scene is like one of the most horrible things that I've seen in like a long time. It's like the movie.
It says here that he's Jesse Plemons as a racist, and then it's got a reference note on the Wikipedia.
Oh my god! Well, he is sort of like you sort of like they encounter these people who are like in army uniforms, but you don't know what army they're with. And there's no sort of like good guys. Like, of course there isn't, which I think maybe that's why people think it's apolitical, because the movie doesn't tell you who's right.
Yes.
There's not always.
It's maybe not pertinent to the lives of the photographers trying not to die.
They're just trying not to die, and they're trying to do their job, right? So they come across him, and he is just like presiding over a truck emptying bodies into a pit.
Yep.
And like two of the party have like been captured by him, and then the rest sort of catch up because they've like run into two other photojournalists that they know from somewhere who are like real like wild guys, because it's like in the movie like the people are doing it for sort of like moralistic reason or because they're adrenaline junkies. And that's a problem, because if you're like doing this job for the adrenaline, then you're like putting yourself and others like in unsafe situations constantly. Anyway, like Jesse Plemons like asks the people like where they're from, and if they give an answer that's not American enough, he shoots them in the head.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's really, really horrible. But then, a couple of them like make it out of this situation.
So am I correct in saying that the movie is good and its politics seems to be shit scared?
Yeah, the politics is shit scared. It's not like these are the goodies, these are the baddies, like these are who you want to win and stuff. And then it has like the ending is sort of like inevitable, but also like just horrible to watch. It's just like for some of the characters, it is all about the shot. It's not about the humanity between colleagues or anything. It's very, in that way, like, that's why I was saying it's like Showgirls a little bit. It's like there's always someone like younger and hungrier than you behind you on those stairs, and that's like exactly what happens in the movie. And then there's also like just like a sort of like horrifying conclusion to like earlier in the movie. The like younger woman is, and I don't know how to say Kaylee. The Priscilla actress. What's her last name? I don't know how to say it.
Oh, I'm not going to know how to... What? Spaney?
Yeah, Spaney sounds weird. Spenny also sounds... I just don't think this is a name that's...
I think it's Kaylee Spaney.
By New Zealanders.
No.
Anyway, Kaylee Spaney is disappointed in how her like photos have turned out, because she has sort of like an app that you can like use to develop photos.
She's
like
doing
she's the
them on
chemicals
Insta.
and an app, and then Kirsten Dunst tells her that like you can only really expect like 1 in 30 shots to turn out, and then that sort of like plays out at the end when she's like Kaylee Spaney is like doing anything for the shot, but you know that like they're not going to turn out.
Damn.
Yeah, anyway, I just felt like very rattled by the movie and like horrified about war and killing and stuff. And then I was like stressed out because like I've been to 3 different malls where people have been killed. And like afterwards.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how I felt. And then so I was like really like confused by the reaction to it because, you know, I think that there's sort of like a spectrum that you can imagine of reactions.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, based on your own, and then when you, like, go onto Letterboxd or whatever, you're like, oh, these people are just really angry because they don't think that taking that road through West Virginia was, like, a good idea.
Well, I think you've convinced me to see it, Raz.
Oh,
so
thank you.
I'll report, even though I really fucking hated Devs. God, did I hate Devs.
I didn't see Devs, and no man spoke to me about it, so...
I think almost no one's... as far as I can tell, the only other person who saw Devs, apart from me and my long-suffering, lovely girlfriend, was the guy who then explained how it worked to me. And I had to say, no, that's not how anything works. It doesn't work. Okay. So, are you ready to play a game, Raz?
Hello.
Yes, I was gonna say that, like, I think that because I didn't know that Debs was a movie, if anyone did speak to me about
it's a TV
it, I would have
show, TV series.
Okay. I would have assumed that they were saying Debs.
No, which is
The
a fantastic,
movie.
yes,
Spy movie.
highly recommend Devs, 5 stars.
Okay, I'm ready to play a game after reliving the horror of watching Civil War.
You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
Oh,
okay.
Also, like, because I saw it in New Lynn, and as I, like, posted on Letterboxd myself, at the end, like, when I was just, like, broken, this child stood up and went, "Oh, this movie's boring." And I was like, oh my god, this R16. This child was, like, maybe 10 years old. And then also at one point, someone yelled, "Oh my god, she's gonna get shot."
Incredible. People always talk about seeing, to throw back to our first segment, people always talk about going to see horror movies at the movies because everyone's hooting and hollering.
God, not many places.
No, is this an American thing? Because I was kind of
and
like...
they think that it's not because they don't know. Because they're so insulated. They're like, everyone in my audience was just enjoying the film and stuff. I was like, but that means something different for you.
Yeah, because no one was expressing anything at the screenings I went to, apart from at the end of The First Omen when a few people went, "Oh no."
Yeah, I think that, like, sort of definitely the white New Zealand and Australian sort of cinema etiquette is to sit silently and sometimes go,
Yeah. Or to walk out in the middle when there's a gay scene.
Yeah, exactly. But if I go to the movies with one of my Filipino friends, they are a lot louder.
Yeah, okay. So it's
including when my friend yelled out, "Oh my god," in the middle of the female Ghostbusters remake.
Oh my god.
But, like, that's a different culture. And I think that if you see a horror movie in an area that's, like, mainly Pacifica, then the audience will be, like, a lot more vocal.
I gotta try and do that.
Yeah, that happened to me when I saw Get Out, and it was great.
Yeah, I don't know if I can swing that in Melbourne, but I'll give it a go.
You go to West Sydney?
Yeah.
Western suburbs?
All right, are you ready for the quiz?
Let the game begin.
Okay, I'm a little bit torn, Raz, because I think if I tell you the topic of the quiz,
it'll be too easy.
You'll figure out what the answers are pointing towards, and you might start to craft your answers.
Okay.
But then I feel like maybe
I feel evil.
But maybe it's totally deranged to do a "what X are you" when you don't know what the X is.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know because I don't know the quiz. But can I just tell the listeners that I was really stressed out when Amelia told me that she had a surprise because we're going to a wedding this week, and I thought that she was going to do something embarrassing at the wedding.
Yes, no. You you think so little of me. No.
Because I'm really scared of flash mobs.
Okay, so as not to freak you out and to play it straight ahead, our quiz today is, which Ari Aster film are you?
Oh my god.
What Ari Aster film are you? And I've modelled it on those kind of like like Elle magazine type, mostly A's, mostly B's, mostly C's. So we got 9 questions, and you can play along at home, dear listener. You just need to
directed or including produced?
Just directed.
Okay, so we're not at risk of being dream scenario.
No, there's only 3 possible answers. You're either going to be
maybe don't tell me that.
Okay. Do you have a way to write down your answers? Do you have pen and paper?
Do I have pen and paper? I have a computer.
All right, bloody Jane Jetson over here.
You just call me Jane Jetson.
I did.
Because I'm not recording this on an A-track. I'm going to get a pen and paper.
All right.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. Are you ready to begin?
I've got emoji pen and a tax invoice for a backpack that came from Kaikoda for some reason. Okay.
So some of these, as is always the case with these kinds of quizzes, some of them you might not find yourself represented explicitly in the answers, but
that's awful.
You're just going to need to choose the closest option, please.
Okay.
All right.
I remember when I did these quizzes as a tween, it would always be like, you're sushi because you're weird.
It's like that. That's what it's going to be like.
Okay.
Question 1. How old are you? A, kind of old. B, kind of young. C, medium age.
Okay. Do I say it out loud or
you say it out loud?
I'm gonna pick B, kind of young, because kind of old seems sort of like mired in youth fetishization.
Okay.
And middle, not 40, so.
It's not middle age, it's medium age. Thank you very much. Different thing.
Medium age. Yeah, middle age is older than medium age.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm neither.
2. What's your favourite song? A, Paranoid by Black Sabbath. B, The Wizard by Black Sabbath. C, Fairies Wear Boots by Black Sabbath.
Oh man, can you sing them? Because you remember I saw Black Sabbath live.
What?
Yeah, when I worked at Ticketmaster, because they were like, oh, we've got heaps of free tickets tonight if anyone wants to go to Black Sabbath.
Finished with my woman cause she couldn't help me with my mind.
Oh, yeah, that one. I picked that one. You don't have to do the rest.
Oh, you don't have to do the rest? You don't want to hear...
Do the rest.
I can't really sing Fairies Wear Boots. It's like, I think you'll know it if you know it. The Wizard is the one that's like, without warning, a wizard walks by. Bum-bum-bum-bum.
No, I want to pick A. I want to go for the classic.
Okay. 3. Who is your favourite author? A, Richard von Kraft-Ebing. B, Ira Levin. C, Sally Rooney.
Does Ira Levin have books other than The Stepford Wives?
Yes, he wrote Rosemary's Baby and The Boys from Berlin.
Okay. Maybe I'm most familiar with the work of Ira Levin.
And A Kiss Before Dying?
Okay, I'm going to put B then.
Okay.
Because I didn't read the end of this third Sally Rooney book because I got humiliated.
Oh, that's terrible.
Because I was just saying something about my personal life to my friend, and she was like, "Oh, is that are you quoting Sally Rooney?" And I was like, "No, I'm just saying that's just how I feel." And she was like, "Oh, literally says it in the book," and it was 2 chapters after where I was up to.
Oh no!
Yeah, so then I didn't read the rest of the book, even though I paid for a hardback from fucking I don't know where that Australian book website.
Is it Wob?
No.
Okay. Question
Book Finder or something like that.
Question 4. What's for lunch? A. Vitamin pills. B. Tuna on rye. C. Stew and cress.
Oh, those suck. You know, I really hate tuna.
I think you might need to go for stew and cress. And I haven't even picked you as a vitamin pills type.
I got to take my probiotics every day.
Okay.
I'm going to pick A.
All right. Question 5. What's the best animal at the zoo? A. Polar bear. B. Hawk or other birds of prey. C. Moose.
Oh, hawk. I love hawks.
Okay.
You didn't put your favorite animal on there.
What's that?
The little, the monkey with the face. Gibbon.
The gibbon. Yeah. It's not a question about are you Amelia.
Oh.
Is it?
I really like the gibbons. Because I would never follow an animal page, but I get to see the gibbons because you like them, and then it's just someone you follow likes this.
I love Monkey Haven. They've really got it all. Question 6. How much shame do you feel? A. Loads. B. Quite a bit. C. Not heaps.
I had an argument about this recently. I'm going to put C, not heaps, but I was speaking to someone who I had to sort of tell that just because people aren't Catholic doesn't mean that they have no inner life.
Okay.
I was like, you know that you are capable of feeling guilt even if you didn't go to a Catholic primary school?
Some Catholics don't even feel guilt.
I know.
Every so often I try and joke with my mum about Catholic guilt, and she's like, I never experienced that aspect of it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I think that, sometimes people will cling on to anything to make themselves feel special.
Question 7. What's your favourite movie? A.
Oh my God.
The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. B. Rosemary's Baby. C. The Wicker Man. No judgment if you pick B. We all know the baggage there.
No, I kind of like The Wicker Man more, and you know why?
Because they burnt that big man outside.
No, because I don't like movies with haircuts.
Oh, you don't like... Of course. But you don't even get to see the haircut in that movie. It's all off screen.
Yeah, but it's really short.
Okay. Question...
I don't know why you were like, I can't say on the podcast that I get stressed out about anachronistic music when I'm just going for it. I'm just telling the people who I am.
You're Rosie real. I'm over here faking it all the time. I'm fronting Pharrell.
Oh my God.
Question 8. What's your relationship like with your mother?
Oh my God.
Bad. B. Pretty bad. C. N.A.
C.
All right. Okay.
Even though I was like, you can't cook these turkey cranberry sausage rolls right now because I need to do my podcast.
That's driving it into B. All right. Are you ready for the final question?
Yes.
Question 9. Who is the best TV detective? A. Monk. B. My boys from Supernatural. C. Cadfael. And I've got a note here that says you might need to Google that one.
Oh, how do I spell that? It's really... Amelia, I think the quiz is going to go wrong.
Why? Do you have equal numbers of A, B, and C?
Yes.
Well, this might be the clincher then. Are you really...
No, because if I pick Monk, it's going to be equal. But obviously, I have to pick Monk.
Should I add another question just off the top of my head?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so who am I looking up?
Cadfael. Cadfael. And you can tell the people what that is while I write this last question.
And it's one word.
Yes.
A monk, formerly a crusader, but now an it's American. A monk, formerly a crusader, but now a herbalist, is in charge of the gardens of Shrewsbury Abbey is often called upon to solve mysterious crimes around the country. Oh, this is very Amelia show.
Good show.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to be honest and go for Monk.
Okay, well, I've added an additional question. It's a little bit of a cop-out, but...
It's like, what is your favourite movie? Hereditary, Beau is Afraid, or Midsummer?
10. What is your favourite colour? A.
Swedish flag colour. Sorry, keep going.
No, wait. What is your favourite colour? A. Pink. B. Brown. C. Green.
Oh, green, 100%.
Here we go. The results of the quiz. You ready?
You got to read all of them, right, for the listeners.
All right. Thankfully, you're the last one, so it kind of works out with building the tension.
Okay.
Mostly A's. Beau is Afraid. You're a little kooky crazy, and you've maybe spent a little bit too much time hitting the books, but that won't stop you from getting into all kinds of trouble and getting a little bit naughty with it too. You go, girl.
I think that Beau is Afraid also has you go girl in it.
B. Hereditary. You're the quiet, dark, intense type. But even when things aren't going too well at home, you won't let that stop you from being the life of the party. You go, girl.
That's nice. Oh, you go, girl.
I kind of threw that in to all of them. I thought it added a little bit of flair.
It added a bit of emotional honesty.
Yeah. And C, this one's you. Midsummer. You're the fun, outgoing, spontaneous type. Even when your friends aren't game, you're happy to dive headfirst into whatever adventure is coming next. You go, girl.
Yay! I'm so happy to be Midsummer.
Yay! All right.
Yay!
Sound off in the comments. What RES to film are you?
You can tag us on Instagram.
Yeah. What's our Instagram handle?
At Cinema Bing Bong.
Easy to remember. It's the name of the podcast, at Cinema Bing Bong. Now, up next on the run sheet, Rebecca, we've got Rebecca's game.
Yay, my game. My game, and I thought that maybe I could just do one or two of these every episode.
That's exciting. I like that.
Is that I'm going to tell you the German name of a movie.
Oh, no.
And then you're going to guess what it was called for us English speakers.
Okay.
Okay, and I was just going to...
If this is going to be an ongoing segment, I might have to recruit someone to do a little accordion intro. I'll see if I can make that happen.
Yeah, I like that. So I got this idea because there's a really famous example of this, which I'm going to look up because it's like so long that I can't remember it. Okay, so in Germany, there was a movie, American movie, which was released under the title Die unglaubliche Reise in einem verrückten Flugzeug, which means the unbelievable trip in a crazy airplane. And in English, that movie was just called Airplane.
I was going to say, is that Airplane? Oh, I might be good at this game.
Might be, but I was like trying to pick ones. I was trying to pick ones that weren't like, I didn't want to just take it off Reddit or like one of those lists of like 10 craziest German movie names. And then I remembered that this was a situation because I went to the movies in Germany last year and now they are still emailing me about what's coming out this week. And I took a screenshot, which I can always see while we're doing these podcasts, that on, I'll try and give you a clue. I think Boxing Day, a movie was released called Wo die Lüge hinfällt, which means Where the Lie Falls Down.
Where the Lie Falls Down.
Yeah.
This is embarrassing because I know what movie it is, but I can't remember what it's called.
Well, you can describe it.
Oh, is it Anatomy of a Fall?
No.
What? No, that would be a good name for Anatomy of a Fall.
Yeah, well, it's not. They just call that Anatomy of a Fall.
Okay, good for them. Where a Lie Falls Down.
Yeah, Where the Lie Falls Down.
And it came out this year.
No, it came out on Boxing Day last year. Or New Year's Day or something like that.
Okay, I'm looking at a list of 2023 movies. Where a Lie Falls Down.
It's starring an actress that we've already talked about today.
Oh, is it that Sydney Sweeney not a rom-com?
Ding, ding, ding. It
Wow.
is Anyone But You.
Wow, Where a Lie Falls Down makes it sound so hardcore.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I got a couple more for you to guess. Firstly, quite an easy one. And these next three are all, the names are in English. I'm not translating them. This is just what they called them.
Okay.
They gave them a new name in English. The first one is Miss Undercover.
Miss Undercover?
Yeah.
The
movie is from like 2000 or 2001.
Is it Miss Congeniality?
Yes.
Yes!
Amelia
I'm so good at this game.
Okay, this is quite a tricky one. It's from I think it's from 2000. Girls United.
Oh, that's Bend It Like Beckham, surely.
No, it's not. Bend It Like Beckham was released under the name Kick It Like Beckham. Luckily, I knew that.
Okay. What did you say? It's called Sisters United.
No, Girls United.
Girls United.
And it's quite tricky because I've seen this movie a lot of times and I didn't think that the girls were united. And actually some of the plot is that the girls were against each other.
Is it Debs?
No. It's much more mainstream.
Is it
and also it also stars an actress. No, it stars an actress that we've also already talked about today.
Oh, okay. Is it Bring It On?
Yes, it's Bring It On.
Yes.
Okay, this third one, this is the last English named one, and I think it's quite easy. It's Kill the Boss.
Kill the Boss. What year is it from?
I don't know, like 2007? Maybe? I'm gonna look it up.
Is it like Bad Bosses? No. Kill the Boss.
Oh, it's 2011.
Kill the Boss. I agree with the sentiment. Is it Drive?
It stars Jason Bateman and Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, I know what that movie. What is that movie? Oh. Okay. It's it's Horrible Bosses.
Yeah, it's Horrible Bosses. Okay, and now I'm gonna do two that were given a just different title, but it's in German. The first one is Nie wieder Sex mit der Ex. Never again sex with the ex. I think it's like 2008, but I'm gonna check. Yeah, it's 2008. Yay!
Is it My Super Ex-Girlfriend?
No.
Never Again Sex with the Ex. It's not Martyrs. I'm looking at 2008 movies. There's a different film called Love Lies Bleeding came out in 2008. Never Again Sex with the Ex. Help. I couldn't possibly tell you.
It's a rom-com.
Yeah.
Well, you probably guessed that. And it stars...
Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Yeah.
No.
It's
What?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
What? Forgetting Sarah Marshall's such a good name.
Yeah, but how about Never Again Sex with the Ex?
Jeez Louise.
Okay, and the last one for this episode... Vergiss mein nicht, with an exclamation mark.
What does that mean?
Forget me not.
Oh. Never Let Me Go. 50 First Dates?
That would be good, but it's not.
Oh.
That would be more appropriate than what it is. With an exclamation mark.
I need a clue.
It's from 2004. That doesn't mean that it's 50 First Dates, which I think is also 2004.
It's not the Alfie remake.
No.
Oh, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
Yes.
Wow.
Forget me not. Ha ha ha. And there's also like, hang on, I need to look up the name of the movie. But when I lived in Germany, so there was a movie on called The Big Trip.
Yes.
And so I was just like, said something about that in English, like, oh, that movie, The Big Trip. And then whoever I was talking to was like, oh, no, I don't know it. Turns out in English it's called Wild. There's no Reese Witherspoon movie called The Big Trip.
What happens in Wild? That's not the one where they...
It's a hiking movie.
Oh.
She's like traumatized and she hikes 1,100 miles. Along like the Pacific Crest Trail.
Like in Gilmore Girls.
Does it happen in Gilmore Girls?
I think they talk about the film Wild in the not the remake, you know, the like
in the
sequel series.
Yeah, okay, I never watched that.
Yeah, they do a Wild, but she doesn't do it. Spoilers for...
Yeah, well, that's like what happens at the end of Gilmore Girls, right? They're going to ride roller coasters together and they just don't.
I mean, a lot of unkept promises with Gilmore Girls, honestly.
Doesn't make sense to me.
But it's always in my heart.
Is it?
I love Gilmore Girls.
I didn't know. I didn't know that it was always in your heart.
Yeah, it's always in my heart. Raz, we ran a bit long last time.
Yeah, so should we run short this time?
Well, I was going to say we're running a bit too short at the moment. So I thought we could talk about my revelatory viewing of a film that you were like, oh yeah, I saw that. It was really good.
Yeah, this is so annoying. So this is the second time this has happened.
You know, Raz, it's actually secretly kind of the third time because I also didn't watch bloody Happy as Lazaro until like yesterday.
Yeah, I know. No, I was including that.
Okay,
so a long time ago, in 2017 or 2018, I can't quite remember, I saw the movie Happy as Lazaro and I was like, Amelia, this movie is amazing. You should see it. And she was like, oh, okay, didn't see it. In the lockdown in 2020, I made a file of movies and shared them with her on Google Docs, on Google Drive. She obviously had nothing else to do. Went allowed out of the house. Did not watch it. And then the same thing happened when I saw, in 2020, I saw all of the, what's the guy called? The trilogy.
Aki Kaurismäki.
I saw all of his movies and I told Amelia that she should watch them, downloaded them, sent them to her, didn't watch them.
Yes.
And then she was like, oh, I'm watching this amazing movie. And I was like, why are you watching that one? That's like the last one in the sequence. And she's like, oh, I've never heard of it. And I was
and the most embarrassing part for me is that I had actually downloaded it.
Yeah.
And then had
downloaded Ariel.
Yeah, and then I had immediately forgotten what it was. So I had this film on my hard drive, Ariel, 1988, directed by Aki Kaurismäki. And in my mind, I was like, I guess that's an acclaimed anime film from Japan.
Oh my god! She doesn't even recognize the Finnish language.
No, they didn't have the diuretic or whatever. It's not a diuretic; it's the other one. It's called something else. It's the umlaut. Yeah, they didn't have the mark.
Then you would have known that it wasn't Japanese.
Then I would have known. And I kept being like, I should sit down and watch that acclaimed anime movie I downloaded at some point for some reason. And I didn't do it. And I've been a fool.
Yeah, everyone's been, because I think that this is from, this all stems from a period in my life where I was very unsuccessful and no one took me seriously.
Apparently, including me, even though I thought at the time, I'm taking Rebecca very
Amelia.
seriously.
I thought, it seemed like Amelia was taking me more seriously than everyone else was, but also every time I was like, you should watch this movie, she didn't. And I was like, I hated it every year because I felt like I had like good taste and I could pick good film festival films. And then everyone would always be like, no, I don't want to see any of those. We're going to see Burning or whatever. And then I would see these like amazing films alone and then watch fucking like Killing of a Sacred Deer or whatever with like 10 people because that's what everyone wanted to see.
I liked Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Like that's fine, but you know what it's like when like, you know what it's like as a woman
Yes.
Especially when you're in your 20s and just, you're like, I think this sounds good. And everyone's like, oh, okay, well, actually a man told me that I should watch Devs.
Someone at my work was trying to tell me that popes could get married in the 15th century. And I was like, no, that's simply not true.
And this, like, it always happens on The Chase, is that, like, a lot of men fuck up the cash builder on The Chase. And then the team, they, like, turn to the team and ask them, like, do you think I should go high or low or middle? And they're always like, you know, even though you did really badly in the cash builder, I just believe in you to, like, go all the way. You should go high. And then every time a woman does really well, they're like, oh, you know, there's no shame in taking the low offer. And, like, I hate it. It just, like, reminds me of the last time I ever went to a pub quiz. And I was like, just kept saying, I just knew all the answers. And I was with my flatmate and her, like, colleagues, and they just didn't believe me. At one point, the question was about the Austin Powers soundtrack. And I was like, you have to believe me. The answer is the Austin Powers soundtrack.
I need to go on the record here and say Austin Powers rules, just for listeners.
I mean, I haven't rewatched, so I don't want to comment, but the soundtrack does rule.
I watched it in lockdown, and the first one was way better than I remember, and all the sequels were way, way worse than I remember.
Right, that makes sense.
That scans.
I was going to say, I'm not going to say the other thing because I hate it when people say that scans.
Before we actually start talking about the movie, I want to say, to be fair to me, I did watch one of the movies you recommended, and it was extremely good. Knife Plus Heart.
Oh, that took a couple of years.
It took maybe 1 year. Come on. But I loved it. It was really, really good.
Yeah, it's a great rec from me.
Okay, without further ado, the film is Fallen Leaves.
Muistatko sitä iltaa, kun lauloit karaokea? Siinähän istui ne kaksi naista. Tapasin sen pienemmän myöhemmin. Mentiin melkein naimisiin.
Miksi te menneet?
Hukkasin puhelinnumeron.
Miksi et kysy numerotiedustelusta?
En tiedä nimeä.
Which is somehow still in cinemas in Melbourne anyway. So I would, like, before...
We have some Australian listeners, but most of our listeners are in New Zealand, and then we have a couple in New York.
Okay. Well, if you are listening in Melbourne, go see Fallen Leaves. It's really good. So it's a Finnish romantic comedy, I think romantic comedy really sells it short.
Yeah.
But it's made by a guy called Aki Kaurismäki, who, apologies for the pronunciation, I'm not Finnish as much as I'd like to be. As we mentioned earlier, he had a trilogy of films in the 80s, which this is kind of a sequel to. I don't think they were called this at the time, but now they get called the Proletariat trilogy, which also makes them sound like something that they're not really. But they're Shadows in Paradise, 1986, Ariel, 1988, and The Match Factory Girl, 1990. And they're all kind of like small, strange romances. I haven't actually seen The Match Factory Girl, so it might be different.
It's not very romantic.
No, I think that one is meant to be very sad. So
I am going to listen to the pronunciation.
Aki Kaurismäki.
It's Aki Kaurismäki.
Kaurismäki. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, because I know that Kaunismaa is a beautiful country, and it's KAU, so it's definitely owl sound.
Okay.
And these helpful Finnish people have uploaded these pronunciations.
Shout out to the Finns. But yeah, this film and the other two of the quadrology that I have seen have been like a total revelation to me. Not just in that they're really, really good films, but I feel like a special connection to Finland now.
Yeah, I've said this before, that I think that the most similar countries to New Zealand are Ireland and Finland.
Yeah, it captures this very specific kind of like deadpan, apathetic misery that is that like oh, I guess that's how it is. That is like, it was so comforting to me to see this, having spent time, now in Australia where that is not how people are or feel.
Yeah, but people are definitely like that here. They're just like, oh, well, I'm fucked.
Yeah, something
terrible. Take me away, lock me up.
Yeah, something terrible happened, and they'll be like, okay, I guess I'll go sing a miserable song at Charlie's.
I guess I'll drink myself to death.
Yeah. And I was like, yes, this is the life I know.
In Australia, they're like, oh, that's not on. I did nothing.
This is not the Australian way of life. A phrase that you hear all the time.
Yeah, you can't say, like, if you say, like, that's not the Kiwi way, people will reply being like, there is no Kiwi way, it's all bullshit.
Or you're a racist.
Nothing.
You sound
we
like
have no
racist.
culture in our country. Stop pretending that we do.
But so yeah, I mean, they're called the proletariat films because they're about poor people, basically. So Fallen Leaves is about a woman who has like a really shit, like 0 hour contract job at a supermarket. And then the other main character is like a manual laborer who's an alcoholic.
Yeah, this is the stuff. And then I was confused about what happened in the movie and what happened in real life, because I was telling you that when I went to Helsinki, I saw someone get caught shoplifting, and the security guard just clapped their hand on the shoplifter's shoulder and shook his head and then just like took them away. There was no like shouting or anything.
But that also happens in Shadows in Paradise. So.
Yeah, so I was like, what is the truth? And then, yeah, I thought that was part of the movie, and then I realized that happened to me when I was going to buy Otraven.
But yeah, I think, there's not much to say about the plot. Things happen, they fall in love. But the craft of it is just so pleasant to see. It's like, I feel like this is going to be like damning with faint praise, but it reminded me of like the good, like all of the like best stuff out of early Wes Anderson before it got super like Dollhouse, a bit cloying.
Yeah.
Like everything is really composed, and even though they're in like quite slightly drab real places, all of the like interiors are really well realized and interesting. Like walls are painted interesting colors. And there's like a real kind of like strange deadpanness to the acting, which I was reading about the production of this film, and apparently almost everything was done in one take. Like he would just get them to learn the lines and then sit down and say it. And it like, yeah, it makes it almost feel like it's a film with kind of non-actors in the best way that those films can be.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I can't remember what happens properly in the one with the rubbish truck driver.
Yes.
What do they call them in Australia? Like dumpos or something?
I've never heard anyone mention them.
I think they call them garbos.
That sounds right.
It sounds made up. I know you're there and I'm not.
That sounds absolutely right. I'll fact check that and report back next time. But yeah, and it's also...
But look, I googled it. Beloved Christmas tradition for Aussie garbage collectors. It's kind of sad. Beers for garbos.
There you go. Also, like, prior to watching this movie, I was getting very into like maybe digital filmmaking is the future, and like film fetishists are just like,
you were getting into digital filmmaking.
Well, I was thinking about Drive My Car and those kinds of like prestige movies, and we'd just seen oh my god, the Nazi movie
Zone of Interest,
and I was like, maybe this is the era, maybe this is the shit. And then I saw this, which Kaurismäki only shoots on film, and I was like, oh no, it's like, this is the shit. It looks so good. Every moment of the film I was just like drinking in the kind of like grubby Helsinki like atmosphere, and I feel like I sound hyperbolic, but this is like this dude's movies are like the best shit ever.
Yeah, if only you had listened to me earlier.
If only I'd listened to you. I'm going to watch The Match Factory Girl next. Hopefully.
Okay, good.
But he's got like many films.
Yeah, I haven't seen any outside of the quadrology. I haven't seen Fallen Leaves because it's not on here.
Oh, really?
No.
It's playing like all the time still.
No.
And it came out like, I mean, it was at film festivals last year and it's been out in the cinemas for months, I think.
Yeah, I think maybe it was in a film festival here last year, but I wasn't here. And it didn't show. I came back to New Zealand in October and it hasn't been on.
Well, you got to...
But I saw the standee for it when I was in Perth, but it hadn't come out yet.
Well, you gotta see it. And in the meantime, I'm going to be watching Match Factory Girl, and then I'm going to watch whichever one has the best name out of his movies, Leningrad Cowboys Go to America from 1989. Or maybe Hamlet Goes Business from 1987.
But definitely out of those ones, Ariel is my favorite. Or Achiel, however you're supposed to say it.
Yeah, I think Ariel is maybe...
Because that's like a little bit more zany.
Yes.
Which is more me.
Fallen Leaves is not very zany. It's much closer to Shadows in Paradise.
Yeah, I thought so. And that's the first one.
But it has an incredible like hunky karaoke dad who looks kind of like Stuart Lee. And dresses a bit like a cowboy. He's like standout.
I read this like cultural thing that was like, do you know in Finland you don't tell somebody when you want to get off the bus, you just pick up your bag? And I was like, that's what we do.
Yeah. Do they not do that in other places?
No, they're like, excuse me, mate, I'm off at the next stop.
Okay, I wondered why, because people on the bus keep saying, are you getting off here? And I'm like, no.
Did I pick up my...
Yeah, did I pick up my bag? No.
Like, in New Zealand, you can, like, take your... you just take your bus card out of your pocket, and then the person next to you will move.
Well, everyone's doing fare evasion here, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, we don't have that.
But yeah, I cannot recommend these films highly enough. And they're all, like, an hour and 20 minutes long.
Mm-hmm. We can't talk... I don't want to talk about Happy as Lazzaro because I haven't rewatched it. And
I think we have to talk about it when La Chimera is finally available.
When we see La Chimera.
Oh, yeah.
La Chimera. I'm like confused about it being released here. It's going to be on at Capitol, but it's like $25 because it's like the opening night of the Italian Film Festival, and then there's like a few like scattered other screenings, so I'm thinking maybe it is coming out, but like the only cinemas that sort of like release their timetable more than a week in advance are like Bridgeway and stuff, and obviously I'm not going to go there.
So what we're talking about is two films by Alice Rohrwacher. No, that was not right.
Yeah, see, this is like interesting because because her last name is German, Rohrwacher.
Yeah.
But
okay, so that was not so wrong because she's Italian. She's Italian.
She's Italian with a German name. Oh, she's got a German father.
Okay.
But how does she say? Okay, so her name is Alice Rohrwacher.
Okay. But so Happy as Lazzaro was her 2018 film. It rules. It's shot all on 16mm. And so also watching this has contributed to me becoming like a insane shoot on film demon.
Yeah.
I'm a flip-flopper. And
she's quite young too. She's 42.
La Chimera is...
Chimera.
No.
Sorry, I've recently learned Italian.
But this is her movie that was at film festivals last year. I didn't get a chance to see it. It showed at Cinema Nova for like 2 days, saying that it was going to start showing more regularly later. And then
Well, it's coming to Auckland in May 2024.
Oh, holy shit, it's playing today. I can't go because I have to go somewhere on a plane. But
to Auckland. You have to go to Auckland.
Yes, it's going to be playing in May. So I will get to see this movie. Hell yeah.
Yay. Oh, it's like got her favorite, her 10 top 10 is on her Wikipedia for some reason. Her style was described by Bong Joon-ho. Magic realism and neorealism. Innocent characters butting up against corrupt behemoths. Oh, behemoths? Oh, I don't know. I read this thing about people pronouncing that word wrong, and now I don't know how to pronounce it anymore.
Are there any other upcoming films that you're excited about, Raz?
I want to see Challenges.
Yes.
I'm not that hyped, but I was going to go see it with my friend on Sunday, and then they didn't text me. Because they asked me if I wanted to see Civil War, and I was like...
Already done it.
Already saw that by myself. And I don't think I would want to watch it with someone else. Unless... I feel like if you want to watch a movie where you're going to like cry the whole time, you have to be like super, super, super close with the person.
Yes. I don't know if you'll be crying through Challenges, thankfully.
I don't know. I really like hated Bones and All.
Yeah, well. I am... Oh, I don't have my list of... Because I got a new phone. I don't have my list of... Oh, no, here it is.
Oh, my God.
I do have it. I need to see Monkey Man. I'm interested to see Monkey Man. I know it's been out for a couple of weeks now.
To see it.
It should be good. Apparently, he gets superpowers from a cool gang of transgender women.
Yeah, I'm like interested in that, but like other than that, I don't feel like it.
Okay. Furiosa is gonna be out. I'll watch that.
Okay.
No response.
Well, no, sorry, I was reading.
Okay.
I was reading. No, I was thinking about when we saw... Do you remember when we saw Fury Road?
Yes.
And it was like on your laptop with like 5 people in like a freezing bedroom.
Great film.
And it was a cam rip.
Yep.
And it was like you like all crooked and blurry.
Simpler times, you know. I'm really excited about Megalopolis, which still has no distro as far as I know. The new Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh right, I was getting mixed up with High Life.
No. It's
I was like, Amelia, that came out like 5 years ago.
The new Coppola that no one wants to distribute. So I went back and watched Peggy Sue Got Married. I liked Peggy Sue Got Married a lot. I think people think of it as a lesser Coppola, but it's got Kathleen Turner in it, so it's it's one of the greatest films of all time, obviously.
I watched Showgirls again.
Nice.
But I forgot about the rape at the end.
Oh, I never forget about that. I'm always...
I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, no. But I didn't... I also forgot that I, like, referenced it in my book. Not the rape, the...
Yeah?
I like my favorite part in Showgirls is where at the beginning where she says like, "Where are you from?" She gets asked, "Where are you from?" and she says, "I don't know, different places." And then she like throws her like cheeseburger and chips everywhere.
Hell yeah! I'm also excited for Evil Does Not Exist. When you're listening to this, you'll be like, "These films have been out for like a week or two," but we one had to record this early, and two have to both going to a wedding, so. We're not going to be like as on the pulse as usual.
We're not going to be on the pulse. We're going to be after the pulse. But people don't listen to this podcast the day it goes up.
True.
Which is like very sad for me because I'm always like, oh my God, oh no, like no one's doing it. Everyone hates us.
We're never going to be famous.
They listened to the first episode and were like, this is shit.
Evil Does Not Exist is the new Hamaguchi film. Old mate who did Drive My Car.
What else?
The Wheel of Fortune fantasy that I didn't like.
Yes. Because, like, I always, like... I have a tendency to see the other one of every director. I never see the famous one.
He's got loads of other movies, I think. But they just haven't... No, he's got 2 other movies.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that's like Sayaka Murata. That she has, like, heaps of books that haven't been translated into English.
Open the translator. Do it. Get it done. I want to read the other ones.
Oh, the movie The Pope Must Die.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in German, it was called A Pope to Kiss.
Because they could get married. So I'm probably going to go back and watch his first two movies that I didn't know about or around the time when I see Evil Does Not Exist. That's going to be exciting for me.
Yeah, I'm still mad that Problemista is not being distributed outside of the US.
Yes, it's gone to streaming, I think.
Yeah, it's fucking gone to streaming. But sometimes stuff goes to streaming and then it gets distributed. That's what happens with May December.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like so sad that I like just watched an old episode of Los Spookies instead. But the torrents are like all dead for that. Which fucking sucks. So like I don't have all the episodes, and then I'm like so rueful that like me of the past was like, oh, I don't need to like keep these. So now I only have some of them. So that's what I'm up to. I love Los Spookies.
We produce and release the show for free, and we don't do any kind of promotion. We're not part of any network. So if you wanted to tell your friends and lovers about Cinema Bing Bong, that would be fantastic. The other thing you can do is give us a 5-star rating on your podcast platform of choice. It doesn't really matter unless that one is Apple, though. If you want to give it a 5-star on Apple, that's like bonza.
That's how really good. That's how majority of listeners are on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, all you Apple heads, all you jobbos.
All you Apple heads that we know are listening on your Apple iPhones because the thing tells us.
Yeah, if you could rate us 5 stars, maybe give us a little bit of a review, that would be super fantastic.
And you can follow our Instagram at Cinema Bing Bong. I always make a little video and they all get 2 likes. It sucks.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram and like Rebecca's post because she spends a lot of time on it.
I spend a lot of time on them, and people, I like every time I get a new follower, it's for my personal account. And I'm like, just stop following me. Follow Cinema Bing Bong.
Follow Cinema Bing Bong. All right. Shall we end on one of my emergency questions?
Yes.
What film director, living or dead, would you want to make the movie of your funeral?
Oh no. I was prepared for is Batman gay question. Okay, can you answer first while I think about it?
I think John Waters would make it fun.
Oh my god.
And then
I thought you were going to pick Aki.
And then people wouldn't be so sad.
I kind of want to pick Julio Torres.
But then you'll never get to watch it.
Because they won't distribute it.
They won't distribute it in New Zealand.
Oh my god.